Good night.
On World News Tonight this Wednesday, the Marines in a Kosovo firefight. NATO finds chaos on every corner. The suspected serial killer, the FBI knows who he is and how he operates. They just can't find him. The country's largest medical association approves a union for doctors, a union to challenge managed care and the insurance companies. And the witches in the army. Freedom of religion. We'll take a closer look.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. It's been a very difficult day for the NATO troops in Kosovo. In two parts of the province, they have been involved in firefights. In the American sector, near the village of Zegra, about 24 Marines were manning a checkpoint when they came under fire and returned fire. Tonight, the Pentagon says one of the gunmen was killed, 2 others wounded. No Marines were hurt. It is not clear who the gunmen were. Earlier in the day in Mitrovica, French forces shot and killed 2 Serb gunmen who had shot at them. The French sector is particularly tense tonight. ABC's Morton Dean is there.
On the bridge over the Ibri River, the most powerful tanks in the French arsenal appeared useless today, overmatched by verbal threats from a menacing mob of Serbs. He said this city belongs to the Serbs. Directly defying NATO, they declared this is a Serbian zone. The Albanians and the Serbs can't live together. Typical of what's been happening all week, today, a refugee, a young Albanian woman with a baby in her arms, was prevented from returning home. You can't come over here, he shouted. French soldiers watched, but did not intervene. Where should I go, she cried. The Serbs are all garbage. The French say they need more troops before they can provide all the security the Albanians need. Mitrovica is one of the most tense and polarized places in Kosovo. Today, while the Serbs were terrorizing the Albanians on one side of the river, on the other, Albanians were pillaging and looting the homes of gypsies, who the Albanians here believe are supporting the Serbs. Turn just about any corner, and there's proof how volatile this situation still is, how deep these hatreds still are. Hatred exploded into flames all over the city. The NATO troops still have to establish the peace before they can keep the peace. Morton Dean, ABC News, Mitrovica, Kosovo.
Just one other item about Kosovo. How much damage did NATO really do to the Yugoslav army when it was there? As they were leaving Kosovo, the Serbs seemed to be taking a great deal of equipment with them. NATO had said that nearly 800 armored vehicles and artillery pieces were destroyed in the air campaign. So where did all this come from? In many cases, it seems, NATO was attacking decoys. As flimsy as they look at ground level, not to mention they're white, NATO's commander admits that the Serbs had skillfully deployed a lot of decoys, which, of course, don't look this flimsy from the air. And the Yugoslav army did not seem as demoralized leaving Kosovo as NATO commanders had anticipated. Though NATO does point out they accomplished their goal anyway. Now, the other news today. In Kentucky, the police have said that the suspected serial killer Rafael Resendez Ramirez was seen in Louisville last week. The FBI is now leading a very intense nationwide manhunt for the man. He's wanted for 8 murders in 3 states, and he may be connected to others. For one thing, they know a fair amount about him. For another, he's extremely elusive. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
The FBI says it has received hundreds of tips since putting Ramirez on its 10 most wanted list. Unfortunately, says FBI Director Louis Freeh,
in many of these cases, a lot of sightings are inaccurate.
But the Kentucky tip looks promising. Police are certain it was Ramirez who was spotted at a homeless shelter.
Those are confirmed sightings of Rafael Ramirez.
Yesterday at 7 a.m. in neighboring Illinois, a surveillance camera at a convenience store in Cahokia took pictures of someone who bears a strong resemblance to Ramirez.
I just kept comparing him to the man in the paper, and I said, man, they look a lot like him.
And there were other sightings yesterday in Illinois and in Wisconsin. The investigation has not been easy. For one thing, Ramirez looks different in different pictures, and he is highly mobile, a loner riding the rails, traveling with other loners whose code is to mind their own business and then go their own way.
The frightening part of this person right now is the total unpredictability. We have no idea where he's going next.
The FBI calls him a sloppy killer, leaving behind fingerprints and other evidence, but he can also be cagey. After each murder, he has left a cold trail, doing nothing that would make him stand out until the next murder. He apparently carries no weapons. When he kills, he just picks up any available object to bludgeon his victims.
He's not just going to disappear and evaporate. He's going to kill, and he's going to continue killing, and with more frequency.
And that's why, despite all the false leads, the FBI is still counting on someone in the public to provide the tip that stops Ramirez from killing again. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
The Supreme Court ruled on two important issues today, one of which was about states' rights. By a narrow margin, the court ruled that states are immune from most lawsuits filed by individuals in state courts to protect their rights under federal laws. And the justices also threw out a $1.5 billion class action settlement over asbestos. The court said that such deals worked out by lawyers run the risk of ignoring the rights of some victim. It's a decision which could torpedo several other major product liability settlements. In California today, the bad news about school test scores. The size of the classes is not making enough difference. The state paid for a study by the RAND Corporation, and it found that reducing the size of primary school classes produces only a modest improvement in test scores. Smaller classes have always been held up as a way to improve education. Here's ABC's Jane Clayson.
California vowed to reduce class size in its kindergarten through third grades, and it spent $3.7 billion and hired 23,000 new teachers to do it. But it was hard to find facilities for all those kids, and even harder to find qualified teachers in such a short time.
They brought in people who had less preparation. They had less college training, less experience in the classroom, less credentials.
5 years ago, California students scored among the worst in the country in reading. Educators believed new teachers and smaller classes would raise test scores. But the state-sponsored RAND study reveals reading, math, and language scores of third graders have improved only 2 to 3 points in standardized tests.
Y después ustedes van a ayudarme a leer este libro, okay?
Veteran first-grade teacher Teresa Arreguin says it will take time and probably more than just smaller classes.
We had 20 to 1, but we didn't have the facilities. We had 20 to 1, but we didn't have the textbooks. We had 20 to 1, but we didn't have anything else to support it.
It had been the conventional wisdom that all it took to raise test scores was to spend more money to reduce class size. Now California is realizing it's more complicated than anyone thought. Jane Clayson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
20 to 1, not enough. When we come back, some of the other news. A doctors' union. What might that do to the cost of health care? And witches in the army, magic rituals, and military rites.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Century by Buick.
Hi there. Oh, thank you. And here are the keys for your Century test drive.
It's a nice-looking Century, but we're going on vacation.
I'm all packed.
Oh, it's a nice ride.
Yeah, it's got standard traction control. Your Camry LE doesn't have that, does it, Sally? Huh? And to your left are the ABS brakes. Standard. Oh, Century's got V6 power, standard. Did you know Century has the highest owner loyalty in its class?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's too.
It's not. Take the Century Challenge today and get $1,500 cash back. Cash back good.
You know what I like most about this car?
The headroom.
Introducing Benecol.
My doctor said I need to watch my cholesterol, but it's hard.
Now there's new hope for millions of people concerned about their cholesterol. Benecol. It's a completely new kind of product used in place of butter or margarine. Studies show that Benecol actually helps promote healthy cholesterol levels.
It really tastes good. And it's good for my cholesterol?
I'd use it.
Benecol isn't just low in cholesterol, it actually promotes healthy cholesterol levels.
New Benecol, now available.
Nobody does it like you.
A revolving brush or 5 rotating brushes, a manual hand tool or one powered with 2 more brushes. The choice is easy.
Nobody
Steam Vac Ultra.
does it like you.
If it's real chicken your dog wants,
It's Prime you want. Because high-quality chicken is the primary ingredient in Pedigree Prime.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, there's bound to be one where you're headed. You can pretty much bet on it. Days Inn. There you go.
It's summer, when everybody can use the refreshment of a good hose down. And your deck can use the refreshment of a new coat of Thompson's Wood Protector. For rain, sun, mildew, it's the most powerful Thompson's yet. Thompson's Wood Protector. It never takes a day off.
In Chicago today, the American Medical Association, the country's largest doctors group, voted to back the formation of a national union for doctors to negotiate fees and services with managed care companies. It is a sign of the doctors' growing displeasure with HMOs. ABC's Jim Williams is in Chicago.
Raise your hand.
The AMA said today a doctors' union will be good for patients because thousands of doctors working together will take on powerful managed care organizations.
To preserve our profession, to be able to speak on behalf of our patients, we need new tools.
Today's vote underscored doctors' frustration with insurance companies.
The insurance company basically approaches me, delivers a contract in a plain brown envelope, throws it on my desk and says, take it or leave it.
Doctors like Chicago's Finley Brown say they are tired of the one-way street where insurers dictate fees and frequently pressure doctors and patients to make specific medical decisions.
Our only chance on behalf of our patients is to negotiate collectively.
The AMA says a doctors' union would level the playing field and force insurers to deal rather than dictate. For now, Brown and most other doctors would not be allowed to join the new union because they are self-employed. Federal antitrust law forbids them from bargaining as a group. But Congressman Tom Campbell is sponsoring legislation that would change that.
I want the doctors to be able to bargain from a position of strength so that they can give their patients the benefit of true medical care.
But Campbell's legislation has some powerful opponents, the Clinton administration and the insurance lobby. Both argue a doctors' union will drive up the cost of health care further while making doctors richer.
The fact is that this is just a power play for money. This is not an issue of quality of care.
Put your hands out in front of you.
Both sides claim to be motivated by the same thing, concern for patients.
Say ah.
Jim Williams, ABC News, Chicago.
Been to your dentist recently?
Elsewhere on the money tonight, more people than ever hiring others to do their chores. The government says the number of maids, cooks, gardeners, and pool cleaners grew by 8% last year. That's more than 5 times the rate of overall job growth. The strong economy and illegal immigrants willing to work for low wages has contributed to pushing up the numbers. In the market for internet stocks, supply is up, demand is down. A number of big internet companies like Yahoo and America Online have seen their stocks go down about 40% in the last 2 months, but a record number of internet companies have gone public at the same time. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 54 points to close at 10,666. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up about 17, almost 18 points. One item about men and disposable income. The Wall Street Journal reports today that the number of strip clubs in the country has tripled in the past 10 years to more than 10,000. In the current issue of the magazine Nature, there is a report which says that man is creating danger for himself in space. 3 Italian scientists say that because there is more and more junk up there, satellites and even the space shuttle are at greater risk of collision. ABC's Aaron Hayes tonight on the details of overcrowding.
Okay, and I can see the backside of it.
Space. It always looks so beautiful, clean, untouched. Well, the truth is, like so many places man has been before, man has left behind the trash.
Looks like a thermoblast, Jim.
Hundreds of thousands of bits and parts, shattered rockets, broken satellites, some in orbit for the past 30 years and all potential trouble, which the military now tracks.
Our deep space sensors are capable of tracking an object about this size out to a range of 22,300 miles.
Junk like this in orbit travels at about 17,000 miles an hour. And at that speed, NASA tests show even tiny bits of debris can do terrific damage.
0.
A real worry as companies like Iridium pepper space with satellites. Today's report warns systems like these are vulnerable. If hit by junk, the crash could result in spreading fragment swarms across space.
The number of collisions could grow very rapidly, and then the collisions cascade. You have fragments of one satellite hitting fragments of another satellite, creating many more fragments.
And NASA is worried those fragments threaten the space shuttle, which often flies upside down and backwards, with the reinforced underbelly serving as a shield. Already, half a dozen shuttle missions have actually had to change course because of space debris. And the National Research Council has cautioned NASA to improve its collision warning system or risk major damage in the future. A caution gaining urgency as more and more nations launch rockets, sail satellites, adding to the potential scrap heap in space. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Atlanta.
And the other great frontier, an expedition sponsored by the National Geographic Society, has found what they believe are the world's oldest shipwrecks, 2,500 years old. Archaeologists say the two ships located off the coast of Israel belonged to the ancient Phoenicians who came from what is now Lebanon. They were carrying hundreds of large ceramic containers used to transport wine around the Mediterranean, and they have been remarkably well preserved in the cold water. In a moment, the Army is making room for witches. We'll take a closer look.
There's nutrition news about heart disease. The B vitamin folic acid may help reduce homocysteine levels in the blood, an emerging risk factor for heart disease. And Centrum Silver has folic acid.
Centrum Silver. It's a great time to be silver.
Announcing a new way to see. Near and far. The way nature intended. The creator of AccuView, the most prescribed contact lens, is introducing the revolutionary AccuView bifocal contact lens. The first with pupil intelligent design, near and far. Get out of wearing glasses and get into life, both near and far. New AccuView bifocal. It's how you see things. Visit your eye care professional or call us for more information.
Summer. Time to get busy with Red Lobster's 30 shrimp dinner for $9.99. Two choices, 30 shrimp, $9.99. Escape to Red Lobster.
Some things in life look good wrinkled.
But your laundry isn't one of them.
That's the beauty of Snuggle Fabric Softener. It helps minimize wrinkling as it softens.
Wow, wrinkles easy on the ears. Shout it out.
The 99 Mitsubishi Galant, the fastest growing sales of any Japanese mid-size sedan.
Ready to go.
I should have used Preparation H.
Cool it fast. Introducing Preparation H Cooling Gel. Cools on contact for fast relief. New Preparation H Cooling Gel cools on contact.
We're going to take a closer look at the Army tonight. You never know quite what you'll find. Even witches. Now, the Armed Forces policy on religion is pretty clear. It does not evaluate or judge the merits of specific faiths or officially sanction the validity of any faith. About 72% of soldiers in the Army say they're Christians. 26% don't list any religious affiliation. And a very small number list themselves as Muslims, though that is growing, or Jews, or other faiths. We're going to take a closer look at one of the other faiths, stirring the pot in various ways. Our religion editor, Peggy Wehmeyer, reports from Fort Hood in Texas.
At the U.S. Army's largest military base, soldiers train by day.
Hail and welcome.
But late at night, here in central Texas, some of them meet under a moonlit sky to cast spells and chant to pagan goddesses.
Wand of power, I conjure thee. Attract such things as named by me.
These are the Fort Hood Witches, a group that includes active and retired Army personnel who are members of Wicca, a 50-year-old pagan religion.
Hail Freya,
goddess of fire.
Wiccans believe there is divine power in nature and that they can harness and direct that power through chanting and magic rituals.
Mama Luna, Veracruz. The leaders of our country are going to give account to God with how they deal with this matter of witchcraft, because our precious single soldiers are going to be involved with it if they allow it on our military force. It's evil!
But some local pastors who consider witchcraft satanic are outraged the Army is making room for witches. And conservative Christian groups are telling young men and women not to join the Army until the witches are banned.
The Wiccan ceremonies are allowed on Fort Hood because several years ago, the Army brass here recognized Wicca as a legitimate religion. Since then, a handful of U.S. military installations have sanctioned pagan rituals.
Pentagon officials say it's their duty under the First Amendment.
Well, the federal courts and statutes have decreed that they are an organized religion, and thus they fall under the protection of the Constitution.
But the Army did insist that the Wiccans not perform their rituals in the nude. Marcy Palmer, a 6-year veteran of the military police, is the Wiccans' high priestess.
How has the Army been to you?
They're great. The Army's been really good. It's good that, everybody is allowed to express their own spirituality.
The Wiccans argue their critics misunderstand them. They say witches don't sacrifice animals, worship the devil, or cast evil spells.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, fennel. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and fennel.
We hope that these herbs will carry our message to the rest of the world for understanding, harmony, and love.
The Fort Hood witches say that despite their unusual rituals, they deserve the same respect and are entitled to the same rights as any other religion on the base. Peggy Waymeyer, ABC News, Fort Hood, Texas.
Our closer look for today. In a moment, paying for a promise.
I've cried more about these kids than I've ever dreamed of crying about my own.
Promising to send the whole class to college.
Nancy will have to see from near to far almost 1,000 times today. Her eyes will focus on 40 labels, 60 charts, and 100 smiles. And in all that time, she'll never once think about the science that allows her to focus instantly at all distances. Nancy just knows that her Verilux lenses help her see better. And for her, that's a very comforting thought. Verilux, the comfort of better vision. For more information, call toll-free 1-800-VERILUX.
Mrs. Dash is shaking up cooking.
Today, we're cooking with skinless, boneless chicken breasts in Mrs. Dash Garlic and Herb. It's 100% natural herbs and spices. There's no salt or MSG, just the good stuff.
Call for more recipes.
With Days Inn hotels in over 1,800 cities and towns, you can go as far as you want. We'll always be right down the lane. Days Inn. There you go.
Great news for all you cats.
That's us, Chuck.
Really? The Whiskas you love in a can now comes in the new Flavor Lock pouch.
What a great day to be of the feline persuasion. Now wake her up. You betcha. Like this, Marv. Woo! I'm up.
And Whiskas has the Flavor Lock pouch to seal in all the slow-cooked goodness of Whiskas' home-style favorites.
Whiskas. What cats want.
Do you use the same corn pads your grandmother used? Well, there's a breakthrough. Band-Aid brand corn relief cushions.
It covers the whole corn, relieving the awful, painful pressure. Plus, it's more comfortable than your old pad, and it stays in place better.
After all, it's from Band-Aid brand.
Band-Aid brand cushions for feet. A breakthrough in corn pain relief.
For blister prevention, calluses, and bunions, try the line of Band-Aid brand cushions for feet.
Hi, I have a question about buying stock. What's the difference between a market order and a limit order? Hello? Excuse me.
When you have an investment question, does your online brokerage have anybody there to answer it? We do.
It's not funny anymore.
Every day you give from your heart. So every day, keep your heart healthy by lowering cholesterol. Oatmeal Crisp has soluble fiber that may help lower your cholesterol, plus delicious clusters of oats, sweet raisins, and brown sugar. Your heart does so much for you. Make Oatmeal Crisp a part of your heart-healthy diet and return the favor. Oatmeal Crisp. It's your heart's desire.
Tonight, this is a drug bust gone horribly wrong. Sam Donaldson investigates what happened to this special agent.
I paid the price, Sam. I paid the price by being in this wheelchair.
On 2020, tonight.
Finally from us this evening, the promise coming due. A dozen years ago, a California woman made a promise to a class of first graders. And now the time has come to keep her word. We have reported before on millionaires making promises like this one, but not a woman of relatively modest means. And it is going to cost her dearly, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's ABC's Brian Rooney.
Latasha Hunter. Latasha Hunter is off to college in Alabama next fall.
I want a good job, a career, not a job, a career. And that's what college will help me do.
Her tuition will be paid by this quiet woman in the audience, Oral Lee Brown of Oakland, California.
How many are going to college?
12 years ago, Oral Brown realized the children in her neighborhood needed help. She promised 23 first graders that if they graduated from high school, she would pay for their college.
It's the hardest challenge, a job I've ever had in my life.
And she's not rich. Brown made only $45,000 a year at the time and started putting away $10,000 a year. It wasn't just the money. It was helping the children learn, helping them make it.
Including making sure from time to time that the kids had money to get food. From time to time, making sure that the kids had clothes to wear, certainly shoes. I've had to buy shoes.
Over the years, that class of 23 scattered to a half dozen California cities. One girl even moved to St. Louis. But Oral Brown kept in touch with every one of them. This month, 19 of the original 23 will get diplomas. Jeffrey Toney graduated last week, and Mrs. Brown is sending him to Columbia College in Chicago.
When I become rich and famous, I'm gonna put her a nice glass mansion on the hill with her name in lights, Mrs. Brown.
Before that happens, there are bills to pay. With donations, the college fund has grown to $427,000. It needs to be twice that. But Oral Brown believes that if her students can defy the odds, she can too. Brian Rooney, ABC News, Oakland, California.
That is our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020 later this evening. And on Nightline, some interesting free political advice for Mrs. Clinton as she plans for her New York Senate race. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Tomorrow, childhood anxiety and fears. If left untreated, could it lead to drug abuse and violence? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABCnews.com, now a part of the GO Network.